Ben Jawalski, what's going on?
It's Monday. We're only 2 Mondays out from the Open. We got 2 more Mondays, and then it's Open week.
You know, my favorite part of podcasting is what the hell is the live dogs? No,
Yeah, I was gonna say the favorite part of podcasting is Murphy and Maddie just barking at everything.
no, my favorite part of podcasting is us pretending like we haven't talked off the air for 5 minutes prior to going on. Nikki and I do the same thing. We sit there and chat about our lives and family, and we get all riled up about shit, and then we get on the air and we can't talk about it. It's the best. I love it.
Yeah, it's so much fun to just hop on this podcast and be super freaking angry, tell you all my drama, and then put on a smile, baby. Let's go. Let's talk about CrossFit.
Oh man, I went to Portsmouth, Ohio over the weekend. You ever been to Portsmouth?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Ohio, man.
What?
Yeah.
There's no way you've never been. Like the
I don't
whole
even know where
world
that
from
shit is
Ohio.
on the map. I don't even know where. Like, is that near California?
Oh my lord, you've
Is
been to
it-
Ohio. Have you literally never been to Ohio?
I don't think I've ever been. Like, maybe I've driven through it. Does I-70 go through Ohio?
Oh my god, we're not even going to talk about this. We're taking that off there. Bruce, what's up, man? Bruce, join the chat. We're going to take live questions tonight. So everybody, tell your friends. Come on in. We just want to talk CrossFit, fitness, the Open. Answer questions. Get people ready. I'm ready. You ready for the Open, Ben?
I am, man. I've been training pretty hard. I've had like a 1-2 punch of working out at CrossFit Cuspis, which is the gym kind of down the street from me. So local affiliate that I, especially in the summer, like I'll run there because it's less than a mile. Let's be clear here. And then I've also been heading north and going to this gym called CrossFit Coda because they have a competitors class that they do at 1:30 p.m. and it is amazing. The energy so high, the programming advanced and awesome. They do all the fun stuff that a lot of, like, I would say, like, normal programs don't do every day. Like, we're doing heavy snatches, heavy cleans, muscle ups, handstand walk, like everything. And so I'm really enjoying that. I've been trying to get up there about once a week. And those are some really big sessions. So I'm feeling, actually, for the first time in several years, I'm actually feeling kind of ready for the Open.
Oh, good. I'm not ready at all, but I'm excited for you.
You're ready. Are you kidding me? You trained so hard for Wodapalooza. It's the carryover effect.
First, let's say welcome to Michelle, who just joined the chat. It's the first time she's caught us live, so thank you for that. And she does a great job to both you guys at Waza. More me than you, Ben, but still, she's congratulations.
I'm Michelle.
I did a workout over the weekend at a competition down in Portsmouth, and it was an hour, just like the gauntlet, but the breaks were shorter. And I hated my life, bro. Hated it. I realized, like, I did enjoy the gauntlet. I did enjoy this weekend. I don't like working out for an hour. It sucks.
But so why do you do these things if you don't like them?
Well, this one was for charity, and I like raising money for charity, and so it's important to me. And Dale King, who owns
yes, love Dale.
Yeah, well, it's his gym in Portsmouth.
Is his documentary out yet?
No, it's coming out soon. I had dinner with him and his the documentarian. Is that a word? Anyway,
it is now.
The filmographer. Is that a word? No. Anyway, the guy putting together the film, I had dinner with him and with Dale and a bunch of other people. And it's coming out very soon. But anyway, Dale's a great dude, and there were tons of people there that he's helped with addiction and getting them straight and narrow and through fitness. And that was what the fundraiser for. It was cool. And so I competed on Dale's team, which was also fun.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was tough, dude. I mean, it's 4-person partner workout, 4-person team. But it was a 15-minute AMRAP, 12-minute AMRAP, and then the final workout was 20 minutes. There was the time cap, and we used every second of that time cap. And it was not fun, but it was good to raise money for charity. So,
yeah, and for those who don't know, Dale's charity is it specifically for helping people rehab?
Yeah, so he helps people with drug addictions and all kind of issues, whatever it may be, but it's opioids mostly, I think.
Yep. Yep.
And they just do great work, dude. And here's what was really cool. There were a whole bunch of people there that you could tell it was their first time doing CrossFit at the competition. And it was a lot of stuff, like very accessible movement. So I don't want to make it sound like they were doing like this big complex, kind of crazy thing, but it was super fun. So that was cool. Awesome. Hey, Bruce is in the chat, says he's about to get his level 1. Congratulations, Bruce. Me too. We should go together.
Wait, you don't have your level 1 yet?
Well, not yet. I'm not required to yet. I'm getting it.
I do a podcast with someone that doesn't even have their level 1. What is that?
I've never had the level 1, and you know that. Don't be busting my balls.
I'm just kidding. I probably don't even have a level 1 anymore. Mine's expired.
That's been the whole beauty of the show, is that you're the smart one and I'm just the funny one. But now I'm going to be the smart and funny one. And
smart, funny, and good looking, dude. What am I going to be on this show other than, I don't know. What am I going to be?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. You'll be the young, pretty one. How about that?
Just a prop.
That?
So Bruce also said that he has not signed up for the Open yet. Obviously, we've talked about this a couple times on the podcast, but John, why do you sign up for the Open every year in, just a few words?
Oh, just a few. I don't know if I can do just a few words.
No, that's why I said just a few words. We don't have all day.
If I could boil it down to one thing, it's that I like to be able to compare myself to people in my age division, like to know how I'm doing against other, in this case, 52-year-olds or, 50 to 54-year-olds. That it's important for me, to be able to tell that. I also I'm kind of always of the mind, you're training day in and day out. And I look at my day-to-day training as training, not competing. I'm like everyone else. I have a little bit of a competitive streak. And during the week, occasionally I'll try to, beat someone just for my own ego. But for the most part, my training is just training. And so the Open is an opportunity for me to test that, to see how's it working, because really, if you've got good programming, you're not testing maxes a lot. You'll occasionally test some benchmark workouts here and there and some hero workouts over and over, and that's good. But, the Open's a chance every year to see how I've progressed, or regressed, as the case may be in some cases. How ready am I? How ready am I compared to other people and my peers? How am I doing against people younger than me? There's, I know you said few words. That wasn't a few, but those are the main ones for me. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I think we talked about this a little bit. I've really come to realize that having something to train for helps me be so much more consistent and focused with my training rather than just training to stay in shape. I feel like a lot of people just do CrossFit because it's part of their hobby, or their habits. And they're like, yeah, I do it to stay in shape and it's fun. Yeah. For whatever reason, that doesn't work very well for me. I just can't, I always probably irrationally think that I'll be fine. I'm still in plenty shape even if I don't work out, and I make excuses all the time. But if I have an event like a gauntlet, Wodapalooza, or the Open, or elk hunting season in September, these big events where fitness is required, and if you don't have fitness, you will be exposed. That is a great. It's like a positive pressure on me to get in there and get after it. So that's one of the big reasons I do it. Obviously, my company very much is focused on the Open. I mean, that's where most people know about WOD Prep, even though we do.
That's how you got created, wasn't it? You started to give tips around the Open.
Yeah, that's how WOD Prep initially started. Was back in the 2014 Open, I believe. Yeah, I want to say it was the 2014, or might have been the 2015.
Didn't you do a muscle up video or something that took off? Is that what I'm trying to remember? I know we talked about it once.
It was 2015. I did some videos that I just put on Facebook because I didn't have any YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. And I just would send them to all my buddies that own CrossFit gyms because I used to own one, and everyone really liked it. They got a few thousand views, all these strategy videos. It was so funny. I used to film this, I'd write it on a whiteboard, right? My handwriting is horrible. Okay. So I would spend so long trying to write down all these tips on a whiteboard and not make it look really, really bad. And I would click record on the camera. And if I messed up at any point, I would stop and then re-record the whole thing because I didn't know how to edit videos. So nice. There was multiple times where I did 15-minute videos and I would mess up 14 minutes in and be like, well, gotta start again.
Gotta do it over.
And I recorded another one. But that is another reason why, because the Open is near and dear to me, running WOD Prep. I mean, that's kind of how the company was founded.
I want to go back and watch those original videos of young 20-something Ben.
They're so bad. You go look at my oldest YouTube video, and it's I tried to be funny, I guess. I don't know. It was terrible. It was so bad.
How many views does it have, though?
I don't know, probably 1,000.
That's it? You've got to have some that have millions at this point.
I mean, we have some big ones now, but the oldest videos, like I mean, in any channel, like normally the oldest videos are not the highest viewed. It's
I love
terrible.
talking. I love talking.
The first several videos were very bad.
All you guys that have been, everyone that's been around for a while. Michelle's in the comments since it's 9th year. I love talking to people who've been doing multiple opens. It's so much fun. Like everybody's got a great open story, you know.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite open stories? I have one that I actually just wrote an email about that I'm going to send to the email list. So it's fresh.
Oh, I have a bunch. Well, I've told it before. I got my nickname JFW. I got that during the open.
Yep.
Snatched 135 was the year. It was 30 snatches at 75, 30 at 135. I think the next jump was 165, if I remember right. And then it went to like 185, 205, something like that. And I was the only one of my buddies that got it. And like the third lift, I got it overhead. And my coach just shouts, "John effing Woolley," only, not as polite. The whole gym turned around. I'm holding that weight as long as I can so everyone can see it, From then on out, it was JFW. So everyone started calling me. And truthfully, like I ran when we were in Miami, I was walking down the street and I walked past Scott Panchak and he's like, JFW. And I'm like, I'm not sure he realizes that's not my actual middle name. It's just what he calls me. I'm not sure he always knows my actual name. It's just always JFW every time I see him, which I think is just hysterical.
That's great.
Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite story?
So for me, my favorite story was when I was running my affiliate, Blue Crab CrossFit in Maryland. This was for the 2014 Open. We only had, I don't know, we probably had like 60 members or something like that, maybe. It was our first year in operation, our first Open. And I remember like we tried to convince every single person in the gym to register. Okay. And there was this one guy, and we'll just call him Alex. So this one guy, Alex, registered, and he was like he's a very timid guy. Like he was coming in kind of like honestly just trying to get like fit and in shape so he could, be better on the dating pools. And he was like, he told me he's like struggled with confidence, and he's like, that's why I'm here. So I barely got him to register for the Open. In fact, I'm pretty sure I even registered him. Like I paid for it. I just like signed him up, and I was like, hey man, you registered. Sorry, you got to do it. And the first workout that year was snatches and double unders. And he had always scaled double unders. He had never been able to do one. He'd tried, but he'd never been able to do one. And so he was planning to do the workout scaled. And I was just like, hey, do me a favor, because I think it was a 10-minute AMRAP. I was like, Alex, do the workout RX. I want you to try double unders. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he was like so shy of being in front of everyone. He didn't want to, I don't know. He just didn't want to work out in front of everyone. He was definitely very shy because there were ladies there watching. And I still remember 3, 2, 1, go. He starts, it's only 2 people going at a time. We had a small affiliate. So 2 people are going at a time. There's like probably 15, 20 people watching these guys. And he tries a double under, fails, tries a double under, fails, tries a double under, fails. He just keeps failing. And then he just starts doing single unders. And I just come over. I'm like, hold up. Whoa. We're not scaling this workout. Like, I'm not counting any of these because I'll let you do scaled, but only after you try double unders and give it a full effort. So, he kind of like slinks his head, and he keeps trying. And then out of nowhere, boom, he hits his first double under. And the crowd went wild. They just were like, they freaked out. He freaked out. You could see like his confidence level went from like a 1 out of 10 to like a 9 out of 10. And he's just like, oh my God, I did it. And then sure enough, did another one. And then he got to the snatches, did all the snatches, got back to the double unders, did more. And like the crowd was just freaking out because he would do singles, but he actually got to the point where he was doing like single, double. And like that was far beyond anything that he had ever done before. And the fact that he was able to do the snatches at RX weight, he was just like, he was absolutely on cloud 9. And I've never seen a community, like I'm tingling thinking about this right now. Like I've never seen a community rally around someone so much and seen someone's confidence just like in an instant transform. And I honestly would say like he was never the same after that. Like he just came to the gym with like a much more confident attitude. Like he did the rest of the Open. He wasn't afraid to like he like all of a sudden everyone became his friend in the gym. He went from like I'm Alex, I don't know how to work out. All of you people are really fit to like I'm Alex and I'm your friend. So that was a memorable event, and that
But you
was
said he wanted to meet girls. Did he meet girls?
yeah. Actually, it's so funny because I'd never heard of any dating apps before, but I still remember like I kind of like a month or two later, he brought his girlfriend into the gym, like this cute little blonde girl, and I was just like, "Who's this?" And it's like my girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh snap!"
Wow,
Like,
look at
we
that.
did it. And actually, I'm pretty sure they got engaged. They were like, a dating app, you know, a rarity. We'll call it that.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
long story short, register for the Open. You'll find the love of your life due to increased confidence and abilities.
That's Ben's opinion, not the opinion of this show. I'd like to throw that out there. So if it doesn't happen for you, please sue Wad Prep and not make Wads Great Again Inc. That would be great.
Oh man, that's such a good story. I love it. And there's like so many other instances of just like open magic that I've seen with other people. I've seen it with myself. I've seen so many people do things they never thought possible because of the open.
I watched went to what was it, Cadre CrossFit Cadre down in Hudson last year for the third workout. I wasn't a member of an affiliate at the time. I was dropping into affiliates. And I know Jason, the owner. I've known him for a long time. Great dude. Part of the CrossFit medical team. Like he's, kind of entrenched in CrossFit. And Cadre's been there forever. Like, well over 10 year. So real established affiliate, real well known. And I needed to get into an affiliate at this time because I wanted, it had muscle ups in it. Was the workout with thrusters and double unders and muscle ups. And I did real well, but I was sticking around like watching the crowd, and his daughter was going, and she'd never gotten a muscle up before. And I got to watch his daughter get a muscle up in front of him, in front of the crowd on Friday Night Lights, and the whole place just freaking explodes. And I'm filming it. It was like all I can do to not burst into tears watching his excitement and her excitement and the crowd's excitement. Like you just can't replicate that in any other environment,
Yeah. Yep.
really unreal.
I love it. What are you guys doing for Friday Night Lights now that you're an affiliate owner?
Well, we'll do it like everybody else. We'll bring in the community, and everybody that's signed up is going to get judged. I got to take the judges course. Ugh, not looking forward to that.
You have to take it as an owner.
Well, if I'm going to judge people, I got to take the judges course. So
I mean, that hasn't been the rule in the past.
Yeah, well, I think it's the rule.
The affiliate owner was the only person that needed to take the judges course, and then anyone could judge.
I'm trying to do all the same stuff Jen's doing so I can like really get immersed in what it's like to be an affiliate owner. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like doing as much as I can. We've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to do as much as I like, but we'll do Friday Night Lights like everyone else and try to make it a big deal. I just think it's important to get as many people in as you can. And
do you guys have any food or drinks or anything extra other than just the workout, like special DJ?
Probably not for the first 2 weeks. I'm going to encourage it for the third week for sure. I think the final week you always should do something super fun. Every affiliate I've been in, we do something in week 3. Potluck, bring in pizza. Whatever, turn it into Planet Fitness. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Fun stuff. I'm waiting for questions from the crowd. It's Q&A. Any, no questions from anybody tonight, but I'm kind of excited for the Open this year and watch people achieve their first in a different community because it's been my first year with Sugar and Falls CrossFit. So should be a good time.
That'll be exciting as a finally first time as a gym owner. You get to, I don't know. I feel like seeing the transformation in people and seeing those like aha moments is even more powerful when it's like, oh, like this is because of this community that we've built. Obviously, y'all already have a community going into it, but I still remember like the first member that we got at Blue Crab CrossFit, and then watching these people do these things in the open. It blew my mind, right? You just feel so. It's like watching your kid grow up. I'd imagine. I don't know. I don't think I have any kids.
Yeah. Here's a good question, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for getting us started. How good were you at chest to bars before you got your first muscle up?
Well, it's a good question. I honestly I didn't do butterfly chest to bar yet. I got my first ring muscle up. I'm actually having a hard time remembering the specific first time because I have to admit the ring muscle up did not come that hard for me. Like I think I had someone that showed me the false grip, and I had enough strict pull ups,
Right.
and I was able to just do a strict pull up into probably a wobbly dip. So it didn't necessarily have a carryover to how good I was at kipping because I didn't have to kip for it. I probably did some sort of semi-strict ring muscle up. I remember doing bar muscle ups in the North Carolina State gym. Like I did muscle ups it wasn't actually a pull up bar. It was like pull up handles.
Yeah.
You had a handle on each side. I did bar muscle ups on one of those things. And I would say I was fairly mediocre at just chest to bar pull ups. But the progression that I like to teach people is normally, we're looking for four or so strict pull ups if you can, then learn kipping pull ups. Once you have, I'd say, 15-ish kipping pull-ups, then I think butterfly can be added, even though I kind of only suggest them for competition because they don't necessarily carry over to a lot of other movements. And then in terms of chest to bar, whether that's kipping or butterfly, the chest to bar is simply a function of pulling a little bit higher, right? So you just need a little bit more pulling strength. If the only pull-ups you can do are barely getting your chin above the bar, then you're kind of missing that end range strength. So you need to train like the last 3 or 4 inches of that pull. And then once you have, I'd say once you have 10 plus strong kipping chest to bar, then I'm sure bar muscle ups are right around the corner. Normally my bar muscle up prerequisite is like 7 or 8 chest to bar, kipping chest to bar, like 7 or 8 toes to bar. And then what's the last one? I guess 7 or 8 strict pull-ups. That's kind of like the bar muscle up prerequisite. That might be a little heavy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's probably when I got my first bar muscle up in the open. The first year they came out, went in, started working on them that Thursday when they announced it. I had them by Friday, and I was pretty good at chest to bar and pull-ups. Otherwise, there's no chance I would have gotten them. It's a different rhythm. I mean, clearly, but yeah, I probably could do. I could definitely do 10 plus strict pull-ups at the time, and chest to bar were probably the same, 7 to 10, probably. I hadn't worked on getting over the bar. It was just I don't know. There was no reason to up until that point, So, here's a good question. Any new movement predictions? I have a couple. Got a couple people asking that.
Off the top of my head, new movement predictions. I would say some sort of devil's press. I mean, it's only a matter of time till that gets programmed. I think that's kind of the main one that I see being programmed is some sort of devil's press, and then also single unders. I think single unders will be programmed.
I could see single unders. I'm predicting kettlebell snatch.
You think kettlebell? Is that a
Yep.
Is that on the list of things you need? Is an actual kettlebell?
Yep.
Shows you how much I've been paying attention.
I did kettlebell snatches over the week. Have you ever tried to cycle them? Like quickly cycle?
Yeah.
Dale taught me over the weekend, and now I have contusions on both.
I saw that video. Why were you switching on the way up?
Yeah, that's the trick. So when you're cycling, so it's hard for me to explain because I'm not great at it. But when you're coming up, you're basically sliding your hand through and punching, right?
That's not going to be legal though.
How do you know?
Because at one point on the way up, you're going to have 2 hands on the kettlebell. No way that's going to be legal.
Well, we'll wait and see.
I'm just saying, like, look at when they've done kettlebell stuff at in the games and stuff like that. It's like you can never have 2 hands. You can have 2 hands on the way down, but not on the way up.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's wait and see. I guess my point of all I'm telling you is I learned to cycle, and for me, it was no different than the quickness of doing a butterfly pull-up, which I think is a bullshit move, but you do day in and day out. Like it's just a faster way to do the same movement and to get it overhead. The point.
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed by the coordination part.
Trust me when I tell you, there is no strength advantage to cycling like this. If
Yeah.
anything, I felt it was borderline dangerous, kind of the same way I feel about butterfly pull-ups.
Yeah, it looked so interesting. I mean, I
Dude, it
liked
was
it. I was
scary as hell. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not strong like you, so I'm, taking a 53-pound kettlebell overhead and literally changing hands here,
Yeah.
you know? It was just, yeah, it was not fun, and it's the same speed of changing that you do a dumbbell, where they make you do, they make you change either directly overhead or underneath, but you can't
Right.
do it right in front of your face.
Yeah. Huh.
So I don't know, it's interesting to see, but the problem is when if you don't punch it hard enough, it's like any other kettlebell snatch. The kettlebell slams into the back of your hand, and because was learning to do it, I wasn't punching hard enough,
Right.
and now I have bruises on both backs of my arms that just hurt like hell.
Nice.
It was not fun, but I was doing it pretty quick.
No, you were. I mean, I was impressed. I was just like, I remember watching the video. I was like, what? Why is he do? What's going on? What technique is this? I had never seen that, but
It
I
was
like
it
it.
was fun to learn. I'll see if I can pull a video and send it to you, and you can look at it.
Cool.
Anyway, all right. How about this? Any movement you hope not to see, or that you want to see? You have one you want to see and one you don't want to see?
I mean, movement I'm hoping to see. I mean, obviously, I love muscle ups. Bar muscle ups for me, I think, are probably my strongest movement. And a heavy snatch. Like if we can get a real heavy snatch and a bar muscle up, like good to go. Also, I've based on last week's performance in a workout against some really good people, I've realized that I think the overhead squat chest to bar combo is like my strongest combination possible. It's just that's my thing. So if we can get a repeat of the open workout from back in 2014, the overhead squat chest to bar workout, I'll be real happy about that. And then in terms of what not to see, I mean, I would love it if we didn't have any rowing or running or
What?
cardio.
You're so good at rowing, Ben. You're so good. You're the
Um,
second best rower I know on this podcast.
it's more it's more of the combinations, I'd say. Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movements I'm not necessarily highly effective at, and most of them are cardio based or burp, just like grunt work and stuff. But like in terms of combinations, I hate the deadlift box jump combination. Freaking hate that. I hate that combo. So I would really appreciate them not having that or the freaking row wall ball combination. Ugh. Right? Like those two for me are just not good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want deadlifts. There's one I don't want to see is deadlifts.
Yeah.
I don't like high rep deadlifts, and they've done it a couple of times. We had one last year, and it's not a great movement for me. I have long legs, and I'm not great at deadlifting on top of it, so I just feel like I'm gonna rip my spine out every time I do it. I'm hoping for wall balls and rowing. That's like
Yeah, I know you are.
the one advantage I get from being an old tall guy.
You'll beat me in that workout, fair and square.
I don't know about that. I don't have your engine, but I'd like, I would do well in my own age group with those two. I think we will see toes to bar again. I show up almost every year, and that's one I like to see. So I'm really hoping to get some sort of high rep toes to bar. So
Yes, I agree. I like toes to bar.
all right, let's see here. Here's one for you. Prediction on type of workout. Seems like multiple WODs have built-in rest rounds is popular now.
Well, they want to try to make a relatively comprehensive test in 3 workouts. I would be surprised if we just had 3 scores. I think like it always tends to be a very simple workout to start. Like week 1 is always just like very simple couplet, frankly, very boring, I think. And then second and third, Murphy's.
You don't have to mute it. I can fix it later.
Murphy's really excited to attack someone today.
Good. Wow.
Better not break into my house tonight. Murph's fired up. So I really like I think at some point there will be some sort of 2-part combination. There'll be something where you have like a Metcon in the beginning and then a strength at the end, or strength in the beginning, Metcon at the end. But with it not being Dave Castro anymore, I feel like a lot of times the workouts, or I anticipate the workouts will be less complex like than some years past, because Dave got really fancy with a lot of the workouts. Right. Then it was just like crazy. I think you're going to see just kind of like pure CrossFit stuff, like triplets, AMRAPs for time, but nothing like if you get 28 reps, then advance to round 2,
Right.
and then you have 3 minutes to complete. Like I love those workouts, but they're challenging to explain and judge, and they're just a little too cute sometimes.
Right. If I could think of the way I'd prefer to see it, I'd like to see one for time, one for reps, and then a third one that has something new. That seems fair to me for everyone. And then, let them figure out how long do you want the one, what kind of time domains are we talking? Like an AMRAP, historically in the open, I think those AMRAPs are typically like 12 to 15 minutes historically. I know we've had some shorter, but, and 4 times going to be as quick as possible. So, us mere mortals, probably 15 minutes for games athletes, 7, just the way it works. And then if we get something new, to your point earlier, could be single unders, could be some sort of devil's press, kettlebell snatch, I think that would make it unique and different.
Yeah. So. I mean, I would expect at least one new movement. There's always a new movement, but, potentially 2. But, for a long time I was calling for the bar muscle up, then it happened, and then pistols, and it happened. And we're kind of like, really the lowest hanging fruit here is like single unders and devil's press. Those are kind of like very staple movements that haven't necessarily been programmed yet in the open. So I think that's going to be
why do you have to say pistols and get all up in my head?
I don't see them coming back. I
hope you're right.
Or if they do, it's like deeper into a workout.
I don't know. I was watching videos of people doing pistols at Wodapalooza, and they're just like crumpling like pieces of paper on the ground when they're done, trying to run afterwards. I'm like, please God, don't make us do pistols, because I have not been working on them, and I'm not good at them anyway.
Pistols are not fun.
Hey, your boy Carlos is here. Just came to say you're beautiful. I love you, Carlos.
Carlos is a beautiful one.
He is a beautiful one. I saw him at Wodapalooza. Every time I see him, I'm like, man, that's a pretty man. Yes, and a great photographer. I mean, he's prettier than he is great, but he's also great. Does that make sense?
Nothing but good things to say.
Nothing but good things to say about Carlos.
Carlos.
He is. He's a killer photographer. He didn't get any photos of me. I'm not sure what that says. Disappointing.
There's the paparazzi just follows you everywhere, so he didn't want to impede on them.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, I got to roast some more this weekend, so that was good. I'm also thinking about in the spirit of our future row competition that's coming up. I'm toying with the idea. Tell me if you think it's a good idea. And people in the comments can tell me if they'd give money to this. I'm going to do a charity event for a local charity. But it'll be tied to our adaptive group, right? So similar, an adaptive athlete kind of thing. And what I'm thinking I want to do is ask people to donate $1 for every meter I row on the assault rower, up to a full marathon. What do you think? You think people will give $1 for that?
Say that one more time. $1 for what?
Every meter equals $1.
And who's putting up that money?
Just listeners, followers, whoever. So if you donated $1, I now have to row 1 meter.
Gotcha. Okay.
42,000 people donate $1, I now have to row 42,000 meters.
And when would you do it?
I think our competition is going to be first week of April. So we're going to do it in conjunction with that. So a couple months from now.
I like it.
You think people will give money to that?
Yeah, absolutely. People love donating and then using it to make other people, have to suffer. So $1 per meter, I don't know, maybe $1 per 10 meters. That sounds better.
Look, my bestie's in. She said she'd do it. Lance in the comments saying, if you match, I'm not matching $42,000. Come on. I'm the one rowing. I'm doing the work.
Millions, you got this.
Yeah, I'm doing the rowing. That's the hard part. The donations, the least of the worries.
I know that Kettlebells and Cocktails is raking in all kinds of cash money.
We're
all those alcohol sponsorships you guys have. That's big bucks.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. Anyway, my bestie Nikki's in the chat. Hi, Nikki. Hope you're well.
Hope we got a new tip, or we have a new question.
I don't know. Do we? Do we have a new question?
Any tips on wall balls? So wall balls. First tip: be taller. Okay. If you're short, wall balls
Done.
are going to inherently not be fun. However, if you can't get taller, then just a few things. When doing wall balls, I really like to make sure that I focus on what I call the clearing stroke. So when I throw the ball up in the air, rather than leave my hands up in the air as the ball is going up and coming back down, if I just hold my hands up in the air, right? If you did it right now, if you just hold your hands up in the air and you do that for a couple minutes, your shoulders are going to get tired. So in the middle of a workout, if we just keep our hands up in the air in between each rep, you're naturally fatiguing your shoulders more. So each time I throw, I let my shoulders relax and I bring my hands back down to just
Your hands are here under your chin, right?
Yep. So I throw it up, and then like sometimes even I'll exaggerate and I'll swing my arms around, like almost like a butterfly stroke swimming, and it helps just like loosen up the shoulders, helps keep you from burning too much. So that's one tip for wall balls. I call that the clearing stroke.
Before you move on to your next tip, I want to clarify. So your hands kind of under your chin, close to your chest. Where are your elbows? Are they up or down?
Down by my side.
All right. So not like a front rack position, right?
I mean, if you're going to front rack a wall ball, it's exactly what it is, right? I mean, I'm supporting the weight just in front of my face.
But you're not pulling them out, is my point.
No. I'm not driving the elbows forward. The elbows are directly on.
Just making sure this is an audio podcast for the most part. I want to make sure people listening understand what you're talking about. So under the chin, elbows down. All right, got it. Keep going.
Yep. And then in terms of the actual wall ball, I think some people are worried that they'll stop the wall ball squat. They'll stop the squat just below parallel because that's the standard. And they're like, oh, I don't want to have to move farther than necessary. But I find that even if you're fairly mobile, like allowing yourself to drop and like bounce out of the bottom of that squat, as long as that feels okay for you, that to me is way more efficient than like trying to control my way down. Like when I catch that wall ball, I let myself drop and I bounce out of the bottom because I have decent squat mobility. I bounce out of the bottom. I definitely get full depth. And then that just like basically I have less time where I feel like I'm under tension. If you're someone who's like purposefully shortening your natural movement cycles so that you only get just below parallel, I think that's more fatiguing. So that would be tip number 2 is allow yourself to just drop and bounce out of the bottom of the hole as long as that feels okay for your knees and your back and everything, and you aren't just like looking super sloppy. But if you have decent squat form, the wall ball weight probably isn't going to be too heavy for you. You should be able to bounce right out of it. And then third one is if you're having issues like hitting the target, especially for shorter athletes, jump. Right? If you tell yourself to jump when you throw the ball, then that you're maximizing the power output from your legs and not necessarily relying completely on your arms. So, even if it's just an inch off the ground, just that jump is a good cue to make sure that you're reminding yourself to drive with your legs.
Those are good tips. I have a few. My big one's breathe at the top. So when you're fully standing, that's your deep breath. And that's been important for me for a long time. When Saxon taught me that, and it was game changing because I always found myself, when I wasn't thinking about my breathing, I'm holding my breath. You throw, take a deep breath, and then I'm holding it. Like I just always think breathe the top, deep breath, down, up, deep breath, down, up. And that I get in a rhythm, kind of like double unders, and then I'm no longer thinking about it. I'm just breathing at the top every time. Second thing is when I'm throwing to that target, I'm always thinking about where am I aiming and not throwing too high, because that seems to be a problem for some athletes. So they feel like they got to clear that target by a full foot. You only have to get it over the top. And you have to tap it, so the closest you can get without going under, the better, right? Now it's going to make your wall balls a little faster because the ball's not going as high, but you're also not taxing your shoulders as much, which is really important. And the third one, and I think this is most important, do not walk away from the ball when you drop it. I can't tell you how many people I watch that they throw it, they let the ball hit, and then they turn their back to the wall. They take like 3 steps away to catch their breath. And by the time you come back, you've let 10 seconds go by. Let that ball drop at your feet, pick a number and count to it, whatever number you need. And that's different for everyone. For me, that number's 3. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, go. Like just enough to catch your breath, because the odds of you failing on a wall ball is kind of the same odds of you failing on an air squat. Like the first one's going to hurt as much as the last one, but you're probably not going to fail it. And even if you do fail one, it's not like failing a snatch or a clean or a heavy lift. Unless you smack yourself in the face with it, you're probably not going to hurt yourself in any capacity, and you'll just need to take a couple of seconds to reset, and you can be right back at it. But just don't walk away from the ball. Once you walk away, you're just wasting time in what is arguably a movement where you should be gaining points. So if you're, as an example, if you're doing heavy power cleans, like for most people doing Grace as an example, and they're doing singles, you're going to get 10, maybe 12 reps in a minute. In wall balls, 30 a minute is something you should be able to do. Again, kind of as a max, So you start thinking of the difference of those points, those score in the open. It's a dramatic difference between placements. And so it's usually a movement where you can gain a lot of points or a lot of spaces if you can minimize your break time and continue to score points. So those are my 3.
Yeah, I mean, with wall balls, as soon as you're not accumulating reps in the balls in the ground, right? So if you can convince yourself to get your hands back on it, just like with the barbell, it's like get your hands back on it, catch your breath. But when you get your hands back on and lift that ball up, all right, now you're going to start doing reps. So you can kind of trick yourself, be like, well, just pick the ball up. And it's like, well, once you pick it up, you're probably going to start accumulating reps. And I forgot actually my most important tip.
Oh, here we go.
And still would be valid for everyone to implement right now is use a heavier wall ball in training. I almost always use a 30-pound wall ball in training, or at least like a 25, even though 20 pounds is my standard traditionally in the open. So if you can do it, use a heavier wall ball. It is going to absolutely suck. Like, it's terrible. 30-pound wall ball is horrible. I do not like it. However, when it comes time to actually do a workout with a traditional wall ball or the normal size that you use for your division, it feels so much easier. Like it feels like cheating almost. So That's like an easy one in your training that you can just add in. And if you've never tried it, like try it now. Try to do 2 or 3 wall ball workouts between now and the open, and use a heavier wall ball than your standard is. And I assure you, it's going to make the open feel better, because wall balls are coming. They do every year.
Well, based on that advice, Ben, I would tell you, if you're in an existing affiliate or like a 10-year affiliate, old affiliate, find a wall ball that has a tear in the side. It probably weighs less anyway. And you're good to go. And I'm just saying, if you bring a pocket knife with you, who's going to know? That's all I'm saying. They're full of sand. That's all.
Oh, yeah. Another one. Don't use a lopsided wall ball. I'm now on tip 5. Don't use a lopsided wall ball. Like, find one that's in good shape, that, like, when you throw up in the air, doesn't have like this weird wobbly counterbalance, because it makes a huge difference.
Dude, have you ever been hit in the face with a wobbly wall ball?
It's the worst. I'm pretty sure every 30-pound wall ball in existence, other than the fringe sport ones that I have, which are like rubberized balls, all the Dynamax, like soft wall balls, every 30-pounder I've ever thrown is like lopsided, and it's miserable.
Oh, there it is. Absolutely. I had one when we were in Texas for the Rogue Invitational, and we did a workout at CrossFit Texas, and I ended up with a wall ball that was lopsided. Literally, first one I threw, it came down, smacked me right in the face. I mean, square, and that's never happened before. It's like, what is up with this wall ball? This thing's terrible. I had to do an entire workout with it. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I hated everything about it. The other thing about wall balls that's tough is it spikes your heart rate.
Especially if you don't breathe a lot. Like if you're holding your breath a lot. I like to breathe twice during a wall ball. When my heart rate's up, it's like I'm breathing on the way up and on the way down.
Well, that's where I think people fell into big problems the year we had wall balls and rowing together, is they rowed too hard. Like if you get, you have to look at the combination of what you're doing, because the wall balls are going to spike your heart rate unless you're taking long breaks. And again, you're losing points. So you have to find recovery time. And in that workout, the recovery was the row. So you have to pull back from whatever your normal row would be in order to make it work, and so, when they show up, or if they show up this year, you got to look to see what they're paired with. And hopefully they're not paired with double unders or something else that's going to spike your heart rate. Otherwise, you're all in for a bad time. So, oh, well. I hope they show up now with rowing.
I hope it shows up with a heavy snatch and muscle ups, because then the wall ball will be a non-factor.
What do you consider a heavy snatch?
Well, I don't know, like one where we can go for like a max, or which we probably won't, because the snatch for the open, especially with how accessible they're trying to make it, I don't see the snatch being like the 1 RM that shows up.
Plus, can you imagine? Oh, all the fail videos that'll come out of that. I kind of want to encourage it now. Now that
I don't anticipate snatch showing up, but if it was a workout like they did back in, I think 2013, maybe 2014, the burpee, I think it was burpees to target and snatches. And the snatch got heavier each round. Like, I'd love to see something like that. That was cool.
That would be fun. All right.
And when I say heavy, like got up to like, I think 210 was how much you got to.
Here we go. Another question. Do you suggest a tight grip for toes to bar? And what's your best cue for getting consecutive toes to bar reps?
Okay. Tight grip. That is an interesting, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but with toes to bar, or with any bar movement, like if you choke up, like imagine you're grabbing a bar. Now I want you to roll your knuckles forward a little bit. That's kind of like a semi-false grip. If you do that on the bar, it will give you a little bit more torque and a little bit more range of motion with all like kipping movements, whether that's toes to bar or, chest to bar or butterfly pull-ups, whatever. I traditionally, with a toes to bar, kind of just grab with my fingertips, but that's because I have very good grip strength. I grab with my fingertips and just really, really focus on actively pulling the bar down. And then another thing to think about with toes to bar is when it comes to stringing together multiple reps, if you focus on aggressively pushing your head into the arch position, that gives you enough tension to snap back into a good toes to bar. So I see a lot of people, they just focus on getting their toes to the bar, and then they kind of swing around a bunch. But if you get your toes to the bar and then aggressively drive your head through that window into the arch position, that gives you the tension to snap back into the next rep. Now, all that being said, for almost every toes to bar workout that's shown up in the open, my advice has been do singles. So, because single toes to bar, especially in an open workout with a lot of other things happening, if you're going to waste a lot of energy trying to string together toes to bar, it's going to hurt you. So I'd rather see just like super quick singles. And I even did singles and scored extremely high in the clean toes to bar double under workout that was, a few years back. It's like I did singles just to prove to people that I could get to the like second to last bar or final bar or something like that. And I did. And it was easy because the toes to bar didn't tax me very much.
Hey, let me ask a couple questions about the grip. Do you do suicide grip, which is thumb over the bar, or do you do thumb under the bar?
I do thumb around the bar. So for toes to bar, the only time I don't use the suicide grip hardly at all. The only time maybe is if I'm using grips and the grips get in the way of me wrapping my thumb around the bar and I'm doing something like chest to bar butterfly pull-ups. The only time I've ever felt even remotely comfortable using a suicide grip. But toes to bar, definitely, I have my finger around the bar. And it's called like the gymnastics hook grip. Basically, it's like your thumb is around the bar. And if your hands are big enough, then your thumb can actually go on top of your index or middle finger as it's gripping the bar.
So that's how you're getting in. So by pulling your knuckles over with your thumb wrapped around, that's how you're getting enough torque to pull down on the bar, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Now, when I do it, like for myself personally, I can do that. And I have a very like relaxed grip that's like kind of just my fingertips. But again, that's to have a strong grip. But for most athletes, I tell them to like choke up a little bit, wrap your thumb around the bar. And then also like grips are a great thing to use for toes to bar too. Like if you find your hand sliding or you find yourself losing your grip, watch my most recent, grips for CrossFit video on YouTube. And I talk about how to it's not cheating. It kind of feels like it, but how to use your grip to kind of lock yourself onto the bar, and it's still technically legal because everyone's still doing it, and they are letting the games athletes do it, so that means it's legal. But basically, you can use a good set of grips. Like I have the Element 26 grips that I really like, but really you use pretty much any of them, and you wrap the grip around the bar, and if you choke up enough, it kind of takes pressure off your hand and puts it on your wrist, so that you can really swing from the bar and not get too fatigued.
I like your tip about pulling your head through the arch position. That
Yep.
for me, that's almost always my cue for making sure my head's far enough through.
Yep.
And just it helps me snap quicker.
Yep.
And you're thinking about singles. One thing I do when I have to switch to singles, similar to the wall ball, don't walk away from the bar. So I think I see that often when people have to switch to singles, like they'll come off and then they'll take 2 or 3 steps away and 2 or 3 steps back, drop right under the bar. What I do is I'll drop under and I'll turn around, do an opposite facing direction, turn around, opposite. Follow me? So like every time I'm doing one, I'm literally just spinning. That's a personal thing. I'm not sure it's for the masses, but I do that because it helps me it makes me stay in place.
Right. You have a rhythm.
Yeah. I don't walk away from the bar. Cause again, like every second you're not hanging from the bar, you're losing reps. But what I don't like to do is hang from the bar, do a single, don't let go. You're still hanging. Now you're just blowing up your grip.
Oh yeah. You don't want to do that.
And they're no faster. So that drop, spin, drop, spin, drop, spin.
Or if you're someone that does, like I see a lot of this, like to get a few more reps, or to like for whatever reason not drop from the bar, people will do like, all right, they'll get their toes to the bar and then they'll like do 2 swings. So they'll like swing back, swing forward, swing back, and up. And like that extra swing, you are just fatiguing yourself like crazy. So especially if you can't do unbroken toes to bar, obviously practicing unbroken toes to bar is good, but in the open specifically, singles are almost always going to be the best bet unless you are very efficient at toes to bar.
Right. Good question though. Well, they're showing up. There's no doubt about that. So, well, I'm excited, dude. I think it's going to be a fun open. I think we'll see. I hope some really competitive workouts. In the old days, they weren't as competitive. You'd have one movement. Everybody that could do that one movement would be light years beyond everyone else. So I'm hoping it's accessible enough that it's really close.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure. Like, I'm always disappointed by the first workout. I'm like, ugh, it's always like so boring, I think. But now I've come to expect it. Like I expect a very simple first workout, and then they kind of gradually get maybe a little bit more complex as the weeks go on, but hopefully it covers all the bases and it'll be good.
What I love about the open, this happens every year to me. Like I don't feel like I'm a specialist in any capacity. Like I do a lot of things okay. I don't do any one thing great. And so I always feel like my score continues to go up over the course of the open because every week I'm kind of adding. Whereas the first week you'll have someone, let's just say it's I don't know, it's got a heavy clean in it. All the big boys are going to do well. And they're all going after that first week going, I'm going to crush the open this year. And then next week they get double unders. And then they're all taking an antidepressant because they just dropped 1,000 spots. That's why I love the open. It punishes the specialist.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's always, yes, it does. It does. I actually remember I was a bit of a specialist back when I was making my regionals run as an individual. I think after the first 2 weeks, I was in like 9th place in the Mid-Atlantic. Like because it was, snatches and double unders, and then a overhead squat chest to bar workout. It was like small guy gymnastics, like that kind of person was just crushing it, and I was crushing it. And then they pull out the deadlift box jump, and I just plummeted. And then I had another wheelhouse workout that unfortunately I got really sick for. And then the final week was an engine workout. That was the first one they did for time, the row, burpees over the erg workout. And, I didn't have an engine back then. I was just strong and really good at gymnastics. And that could put a Band-Aid over the fact that I didn't have an engine. But guess what? Row for calories and burpees over an erg, there is no skill involved. It's pure engine. And I was exposed and I didn't make it. So,
yeah. Well, that's the beautiful part about what we do. So, here, we got one more question, then we're going to wrap it up. Jose's got one here. Hold on. I didn't read it. Question: as a master 60 plus, when is it too much For example, days, weight, times, rep, etc.
You want to go first, John, and then I can talk about what I know. You're closer to that than I am.
Yeah, I was waiting for that comment, just waiting for you to say that I should be the expert here because
You don't look like it though.
I know, I don't. I mean, I think anytime we answer this question, it's always with a big, a big if. Like, there's a lot of ifs here. Like, I don't know this person. I don't know Jose. I don't know if, like, their capabilities. I think it's always too much when you think it's too much. Like, that's kind of like, this should be fun. That's kind of my benchmark for everything these days. Are you having fun? Do you feel good? Are you limping when you walk away from the workout? Or are you walking away feeling good? And so you've got to be able to answer some of those questions. I think I'm of the opinion, particularly as you get older, that's far more important. Meaning, personally, as a 52-year-old, I focus less on heavy weight and more on managing my volume, because at this age, volume really matters on your joints, your knees, your ankles, your hands, your wrists, whatever. And so I spend a lot of time like worrying, am I doing, too much? I think for most people, if they're new, 3 to 4 days is plenty. If you've been doing it a decade like me, I do it 5 days a week. And that's plenty, but you have to take rest days. You have to be smart about it. So you can't do, 5 days in a row or 6 days in a row. You got to do 3 days and take a rest day and take an actual rest day. You make it active. You can go mow the yard and go to groceries and do your laundry and whatever, but don't lift weights, and I think you have to find that balance of, there is volume isn't just the hour in the gym. Sometimes, to the point of the question, is total reps. So an example of that would be if you come in on Monday and the workout calls for 500 double unders, that's a lot of reps, and you have to take that into account before your next workout and what that's going to do to your ankles and calves. So it's hard to say when too much is too much, but I would tell you, just start by tracking your workouts. For most people, I'd say go 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, and see how it feels. And if it feels too much, it is too much. And that's when you should be, sitting down with your coach and working out a game plan for how are you going to start building your volume over time. And if you are wondering if you should scale a workout, you should. Like, the workouts that I don't scale, I'm 100% positive I don't need to scale them. If I even consider should I or shouldn't I just scale. It's the safest way for me at this age. At the not 60 plus age, Ben.
They'll call it the knocking on the door of 60.
Knocking on the door of 60 plus age. That's what I am. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it really simple, Jose. A 60 plus athlete or any masters athletes really over the age of, I don't know, probably 50, definitely need to make sure that they are managing their volume with I guess thought, with some intentionality. Because in our WOD Prep Masters programming at WOD Prep, like, we're very adamant about, like, we have days that are specifically designed to be more high volume, and then we taper it off. We're not just doing these really high volumes every single day and then taking a rest day. It's like, no, Monday's big, Tuesday's a little bit less, Wednesday's pretty small, Thursday's a rest day, Saturday's big, Sunday's a rest day. Like, that's kind of like how it works, because we want to make sure that you're getting adequate rest and then you're not overdoing it. But I would, as cliche as it sounds, like, how do you feel? If you feel really banged up all the time, then chances are you are doing too much. So that could mean eliminating a day of exercise. So take out a day of training, or make sure that you change your programming so that you're mitigating or managing the volume and taking it down a little bit. And then once you start, like, it's okay to feel sore, and maybe like banged up every once in a while, because in order to create adaptation and change, we do need to stress ourselves, right? So if you feel fantastic and amazingly well rested and not sore at all for your entire life, you're probably not making any change and heading in any direction positively, right? You're not getting more fit. So in order to get more fit, you do have to have a little bit of that soreness and a little bit of that fatigue. But if you're feeling it all the time, like, I'd say, like, OG CrossFit, like back in the day, it was like, how sore and bloody could you be every single day? That's not what we want at all. We want to make sure that you're strategically having those sore, tough days. But most of the time when you go into training, you're feeling pretty good. And if that's not the case and you're banged up all the time, then it's probably worth lowering your volume a little bit.
Yep. Good advice for such a young guy. Just such a young babe.
There's patch of gray hair right here on my beard, man. I think that's where the wisdom comes from, right there.
That's probably from the stress of working with me.
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
That'd be my guess. All right, dude. This has been fun as always. 19 days. 19 days to the Open.
We're almost there, everyone.
I hope week 1's 1,000-meter row for time. Oh my God, I hope it so much.
That would be the most boring workout.
Yeah, I know. Not to mention you do it 4 days in a row, like 3 times a day.
No, I would not.
Get your best possible score.
Not a chance. One and done, baby. I don't do redos anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see.
I haven't done a redo in a long time, so one and done.
We shall see. All right, well, it's been fun. We appreciate you guys joining, answering questions. We'll probably do this again prior to the Open. Get people fired up and ready to go. Make sure you get signed up. Go to CrossFit.games.com. Get signed up for the Open. Do my hashtag, by the way. Get on my leaderboard. Hashtag Make Watts Great Again.
Compete. Do hashtag WOD too.
I'm giving away an ab mat each week to best male and best female with a meme on it.
Well, I'm going to give away something better. Okay, so join WOD Prep.
Mine has a custom Make Watts Great Again meme on it. And join WOD Prep too. They'll be fine. You can do both. You can do more than one.
Yeah.
It's not a competition unless it's 1,000-meter row for time, and then I win by 4 seconds. That's all that matters. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining. We will chat with you guys soon.
Peace.